Imagine a city so choked with horse-drawn traffic that crossing the street was a life-threatening gamble. A city shrouded in a perpetual haze of coal smoke and fog, where the air itself felt heavy and thick. This was mid-19th century London, a bustling, overcrowded metropolis bursting at the seams. But on January 10th, 1863, a revolutionary solution rumbled to life beneath the city's chaotic streets, forever changing the future of urban transportation. This is the story of the day the world's first underground railway, a London Underground, opened its doors to the public. To truly understand the monumental achievement of the London Underground, we have to travel back to the London of the 1850s. The Industrial Revolution had transformed the city into the largest and most powerful in the world. Its population had swelled to over 2 million people, and its streets were in a state of constant gridlock. The main thoroughfares, like Cheapside and the Strand, were crammed with thousands of horse-drawn omnibuses, cabs, carts, and wagons every single day. The resulting chaos was so severe that it was often faster to walk than to take a carriage. The term traffic jam might not have existed yet, but the reality of it was a daily nightmare for Londoners. This wasn't just an inconvenience, it was a serious economic and social problem. The city was suffocating under its own success. Visionaries and engineers began to dream of a radical new way to move people. The idea of an underground railway had been floating around for a while, but it was Charles Pearson, the solicitor to the City of London, who became its most tireless champion. Pearson envisioned a network of drains for people, subterranean tunnels, that would whisk passengers from the sprawling new suburbs to the city center, bypassing the gridlock above. He saw it not just as a transportation project, but as a tool for social reform, allowing working-class families to move out of the squalid, overcrowded slums and into healthier suburban homes. For decades, Pearson campaigned relentlessly, facing ridicule and skepticism. Many dismissed his idea as pure fantasy. The thought of tunneling beneath a city teeming with buildings, crisscrossed by a fragile web of gas pipes, water mains, and sewers, seemed insane. Critics mockingly predicted that the tunnels would collapse, flood, or fill with poisonous fumes. Some even claimed that passengers would be asphyxiated by the smoke and steam from the locomotives. Despite the opposition, the idea gained traction. In 1854, the North Metropolitan Railway Company was formed to build the first line. The route they chose was ambitious, a nearly 4-mile stretch connecting the major mainline railway stations at Paddington in the west with Farringdon Street in the east, near the city's financial heart. This would allow commuters arriving from outside London to easily complete their journey into the city center. Funding was a major hurdle, but after years of struggle, construction finally began in 1860. The chief engineer for the project was John Fowler, a brilliant and experienced railway engineer. The construction method they employed was known as cut and cover. It was a brutally disruptive process. Workers would dig a massive trench down the middle of a street, sometimes as deep as 33 feet. They would then build brick walls for the sides of the tunnel, arch a brick roof over the top, and then backfill the soil to restore the street level above. This method created chaos on the surface. Entire streets were torn up for months, even years. The disruption to traffic was immense, and the lives of residents and business owners were turned upside down. The engineering challenges were formidable. Workers had to navigate that treacherous underground labyrinth of existing infrastructure. They battled shifting soil, underground rivers like the Fleet, and the constant threat of building collapses. On one occasion, the Fleet sewer burst, flooding the works and delaying the project significantly. It was a dirty, dangerous, and back-breaking job, carried out by thousands of laborers known as navvies, using little more than picks, shovels, and sheer muscle power. As the opening day approached, anticipation and anxiety were at a fever pitch. A grand inaugural run was held the day before the public opening. On January 9, 1863, hundreds of dignitaries, investors, and prominent figures, including the then Chancellor of the Exchequer, William Gladstone, were invited to take the first journey. They gathered at Paddington Station, marveling at the scale of the subterranean world that had been built beneath their feet. The stations themselves were impressive, with wide platforms and high, arched brick ceilings, illuminated by the bright, modern glow of gaslight. The trains were a special design. To combat the concerns about smoke and steam in the tunnels, the locomotives were fitted with pipes to condense their own steam. The carriages were also gas-lit, offering a level of comfort and brightness that was revolutionary for the time. As the train pulled out of Paddington and plunged into the tunnel, the guests were reportedly thrilled. The journey to Farringdon took just 18 minutes, a fraction of the time it would have taken on the congested streets above. The project, once derided as a fantasy, was a resounding success. The next day, January 10th, the Metropolitan Railway opened to the public. Londoners, spurred by a mix of curiosity and desperation, flocked to the new stations. Despite the expensive fares, sixpence for first class, fourpence for second, and threepence for third, an astonishing 38,000 people rode the line on its very first day. The public's reaction was overwhelmingly positive. Newspapers that had once mocked the project now hailed it as the great engineering triumph of the day. People were amazed by the smoothness of the ride and the incredible speed. For the first time, the city felt manageable. A journey that once took over an hour was now completed in minutes. The London Underground was an instant runaway success. The impact was immediate and profound. It didn't just ease traffic. It fundamentally reshaped the city of London. The railway spurred the development of the suburbs, making it possible for people to live further from their workplaces. It connected disparate parts of the metropolis, weaving them into a more cohesive whole. It set a new standard for urban mass transit, and cities around the world, from Budapest to Boston to Paris, soon followed London's lead, building their own underground systems. The cut-and-cover method eventually gave way to the deep-level tube lines we know today, made possible by the invention of the tunneling shield. But it was that first journey on January 10, 1863, that sparked the revolution. It proved that cities could conquer their own congestion, that human ingenuity could overcome seemingly insurmountable obstacles, and that the future of urban life lay not just on the surface, but beneath it. So the next time you step onto a subway or an underground train in any city in the world, take a moment to remember that chaotic, traffic-clogged London of the 1860s. Think of the visionaries who dared to dream of a railway beneath the streets, the engineers, who battled floods and collapsing earth, and the thousands of Londoners who lined up on that cold January day to take a chance on a noisy, smoky, and utterly revolutionary invention. They weren't just taking a train. They were taking a ride into the future. This is TimeShift Tech, where we explore what happened in technology on this day. Because every date matters, and every date marks a moment in technology history. If you enjoyed this journey back in time, please hit that like button and subscribe to TimeShift Tech for more stories from the history of technology. Don't forget to ring the notification bell so you never miss a date.